Recording in progress.
Good evening. I'd like to call this September 17th legislative meeting to order. Everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming. My supervisor's report tonight, I just want to say a quick word. So there have been some questions posed to me by members of the public regarding the function of a deputy supervisor. Under New York State town law, a town supervisor's primary role is to be the presiding officer over all public meetings, sign documents, and disperse funds on behalf of the town board, only after board approval. Unlike a mayor, county executive, or governor, town supervisors do not have unique executive powers, as that function is shared equally amongst each board member, and it takes only 3 out of 5 votes to pass a motion, resolution, local law, or take any other action. In case the supervisor cannot attend the meeting or perform their ministerial functions, Town Law Section 42 allows the supervisor to appoint any town resident to serve as deputy supervisor. The deputy supervisor is not elected and therefore does not have voting privileges and serves purely at the pleasure of the supervisor. My previous deputy supervisor and I had a difference of opinion between how things have been done for nearly 2 decades compared to how I believe town business should be conducted. And we are hopefully still working through those differences amicably. I had attempted a council member whom I believed would be suitable for the role, but she respectfully declined the appointment. The deputy supervisor only needs to be present when the supervisor is unable to run the town board meetings or sign documents on behalf of the board. The town supervisor, as the presiding officer, also sets the official agenda for all board meetings. It has always been my practice to have the town attorney review all motions, resolutions, and local laws prior to placing them on the final agenda. The 3 motions made at last week's meeting were never formally submitted to me to be placed on the agenda and thus were never reviewed by the town attorney prior to the vote. Regardless of what appears on the agenda, any board member can make a motion to introduce any resolution during any meeting. Every member of this board is separately elected by the people, and I hope they always feel empowered to introduce a resolution whenever they see fit. Historically, town business was largely decided on in advance, voted in a block, and the meetings were over shortly after they began. It is my intention to ensure this board takes the time to discuss, debate, and deliberate every major issue in an open and transparent manner that makes our residents feel confident that we always have their best interests at heart. Thank you. Do we have any correspondence tonight?
I do not.
All right, can we open up, let's open up to citizen comments. Anyone signed up to speak?
James Legard.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. I spoke at last Tuesday's meeting and questioned how the board could simply raise the water and sewer rates 10% without some research. There were no numbers presented showing how much additional revenue a 10% increase would generate or a plan. A 1-year plan, 2-year plan, 3-year plan, just a plan, to show how that additional money would be used to make the much needed repairs to both the water delivery system and the sewer plants. I also asked that a copy of the 2011 study by C.D.M. Smith that no one can find. I asked that a copy be requested from the company and presented because what was in that report back in 2011 is part of the reason why we're all here tonight. But we can't really see what all of that was because it seems to have evaporated. I learned since I wrote this that C.D. Smith doesn't even have a copy of it. I hope I'm wrong with that. I then gave the supervisor and each board member a copy of the Delaware River Commission docket that was dated September 9, 2014. I also read number 6 on page 9 of the Delaware River Basin document that was dated October 20th, 2021. It's important to note that a public hearing on that document was held on February 9th, 2022. Last week, when I gave a copy of the 2014 Delaware River Basin document, it appeared that some of the members had never seen it before. I confirmed with Supervisor Ben Simon that he had never seen that document before last Tuesday. How can it be that the town has been reporting the amount of water from each of the wells for all of these years, and no one on the board seems to know anything about these Delaware River Basin documents? The town engineer gave a report 2 years ago and didn't even mention the Delaware River Basin Commission. Some town official had to have represented the town at the public hearing that the DRBC held on February 9th, 2022. Here's a copy of the last document that I was referring to.
Thank you.
In addition, I'm going to give a copy of the Delaware River, the compact itself. This is a 22-page or 40-some page document, and I'll give this, I only have one copy, so I'll give it to you. As I was saying, how can it be that the town has been reporting all of these water numbers that document says that we must report, and it's the first time I've ever heard about it. I was on one of the committees for when we went through, we did all of our documents and zoning and everything, and none of this was ever brought to our attention. That 40-page document tells you everything you wanted to know about the town of Fallsburg and Wells, how much water is taken from the town's aquifer each year. It also tells you that the docket holder, which is the town of Fallsburg, projected back then peak day and monthly demand exceeds the system's combined well capacity and allocation. The allocation refers to what amount of water the town can take from the aquifer as documented or as explained in the document. All the information in these documents the town has had going back to at least February 9th of 2022. So I asked someone, why someone in a town, either a town supervisor, a board member, a department head, or even the town engineer, acted on this information that they've had since February. Why hasn't somebody done something? It goes back a long ways. And why is this board in such a rush to raise water and sewer rates without a due diligence and a comprehensive plan to know how it's going to solve the problem? Without a plan, raising the rates. And after reading today's article in the Democrat, where several board members shared their disappointment at not being able to push through a resolution to raise the water and sewer rates by 10% 2025, it seems clear to me that most of the board members aren't willing to take the time necessary to do the research needed and create a plan in order to actually fix this problem. Simply passing a rate increase is not what the public is asking for. To rush is simply, this rush to simply pass a rate increase appears to another attempt at just kicking the problem, as they say, down the road. I again respectfully ask the board ensure the town completes the study the Delaware River Basin Commission says, by law, must be done before February 9th, 2025, and present the findings of that study at a town hall meeting before any long-term decisions are made on the town's water and sewer issues. Thank you.
Mary Adams.
Hi, good evening. Can
Mary,
you hear me? I don't
Mary,
know.
come up here.
So I've been coming to various different boards. I've been through Vigilante, Stephen. I've been through Kathy Rappaport and now Mike Benson. And so although I agree with everything that Jim is saying tonight, and it makes sense from a business point of view, that we would have a plan, and then we would do all the due diligence, and we would come up with the exact amount that we need to charge to begin to raise money for the repairs that we clearly need. In my opinion, by looking at what the town, what it takes to run a small town, this board, you all work, other jobs, and you are doing town business. It is a lot of work, and I feel if we go, we gotta wait for a plan, gotta wait for a plan. It will be another year. I have not seen anything move fast. Now, maybe this is just my opinion, but it's my opinion. So, I would prefer we raise the rate 10%. We know the rates need to go up. We are not in alignment with any of the local areas around us. So raise it 10%. We're not gonna have to go back. We will have to go up. We won't be able to raise the rates 40% in 1 year, unless you wanna riot. Even 10 is gonna be hard for some people to swallow. I've talked to a few people and they go, well, why do we have to absorb that? Why shouldn't it be all these huge developments that are coming in? Why aren't they absorbing it? And I always tell them, well, you know, they do pay their taxes, so it's not about just the developments. It's about an expanding population. It is about everyone paying their fair share. So that would be part of the formula, I believe, for what we charge for water. I don't believe I should be paying the same amount as a huge 102-unit development, 2-floor development is paying for water. The demand on our system is way different. So there should be rates. But that's not my point. My point right now is I would like to see some action now towards making some changes in this. And I believe the public does want to see a change. Do we want to see the final plan? Yes. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a plan. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a town hall meeting. I think explanation about all this is very important, and it needs to be in a town hall meeting. But I don't think waiting again, because we only have supervisors for 2 years. It's nuts. 6 months in, you learn everything, you get on board, and then, you know, we start all over. I've been through 3, and there's a huge learning curve, so thank you heard me. Hope I wasn't too fiery there, but it matters to me, and the town matters to me. And thank you for everything that you all do every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dean Copeland, representing Murray's Chicken.
Mr. Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen of the board, members of the public, thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. My name is Dean Copeland. I am Chief Operating Officer of Murray's Chicken and have been so for the last 26 years. During the past couple of weeks, I've had the opportunity to view via YouTube the last 2 board meetings and discovered in watching those meetings, I discovered for the first time that the town has a major infrastructure problem with the water and sewer system. I further learned for the first time that the town's sewer plant is operating at a deficit. I also learned that according to the supervisor, Murray's is, quote, not paying its fair share and that Murray's is being subsidized by the town. If I understand correctly, the town has been aware of its needed infrastructure improvements and operational shortfall since the issuance of a report in 2011. In 2019, we renegotiated our industrial water use permit with the town through about a half dozen meetings, which were both collaborative and cordial. And never once during those meetings was the issue of infrastructure or operational deficit raised. Additionally, never once during those meetings was the issue of a rate increase raised. But let me give you a handful of facts about MERS. We work with a number of Fallsburg and Sullivan County-based companies, including Zakarin & Sons, Alport & Sons, Fallsburg Lumber, Black Bear Fuel, and Prestige Towing, just to name a few. Murray donates or sells at cost tens of thousands of dollars of product or direct cash outlays to local fire departments, churches, and charitable organizations. Murray's has 300 plus employees, 218 of which live within the town of Fallsburg. Those 218 children currently send 218 employees currently send 269 children to the Fallsburg Central School District. Murray's has an annual payroll of $18 million. Depending on what study you review, annual payroll has a local economic impact of between 4 and 7 times the payroll, which means Murray's is inserting annually at least $70 million into the Fallsburg, Sullivan County community. Murray's is not some type of amorphous villain. We are a family-owned business owned by lifelong Fallsburg residents. In fact, every year at our year-end corporate meeting, our accountant and chief financial officer stand up and tell Murray, you know, Murray, you'd be much better off financially if you moved out of Fallsburg and went to Pennsylvania. And Murray says, I'm not talking about that, I'm not interested, Fallsburg is my home. Murray's has always tried to be a good corporate neighbor. If the town needs to raise our water and sewer rates and can present demonstrable reasons for such an increase, we are more than willing to sit down, discuss the issue, and reach a mutually beneficial resolution. It appears, however, rather than engage us in conversation, considering my office is about 200 feet from here, the supervisor has taken upon himself to cast Murray in the role of bad guy. If the supervisor was really interested in working on a meaningful solution, we wouldn't have to learn about the water sewer issues via YouTube. Actually, finding solutions to a problem is always hard. It's much easier to grandstand and make inflammatory statements to appease various constituencies. We must also wonder aloud if Murray's is the apparent cause of all that ails Fallsburg's water and sewer system, why new construction has only accelerated in Fallsburg since the issuance of the 2011 report. Regardless, Murray's is ready and willing to work with the town in a constructive manner. I am in my office at 6:30 every morning. We are not, however, given the unmatched economic benefit that Murray provides to Fallsburg, willing to be a political punching bag solely because we are an easy target. Thank you.
Anyone else? Paul, anyone else signed up?
I'm just waiting to see if she has a moment.
No, there's nobody online.
Mr. Ingber, could you speak louder this week?
Yeah, I know, I was disappointed in myself last time.
You don't have to be
It's hard for the minutes to pick up.
It's
Yeah, no, I'll
fine.
be very loud,
All right.
very, very
You
loud.
have to sign in.
I'll sign in right now.
Oh, and I do have somebody
Yes,
online
ma'am.
now too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I gotta go after Dean, the lawyer, and Dean, so yeah. But anyway, try and speak now. I'm actually not gonna speak about the, water and sewer infrastructure issues that we have, because I mentioned all that yesterday, or last week, I should say. But it goes basically to what, like, the underlying issue is, and that's kind of being unaware of what's going on within your town. And I'm speaking to the supervisor, not asking questions, I promise. I wasn't allowed for that last week. But with that being said, where did this go? You made a comment about the prison that was in July 19th when it was shut, when you made it with the legislative chairman, and basically stated that you had, I want to quote this exactly, I don't want to misrepresent what you said. pretty bad as is. You said, here we go. You said that we were extremely dissatisfied with the lack of official notice from the state that is announcing this coming. Well, that was July 19th that you guys said that, and I believe it was in April when she had mentioned that she would be closing up the possibly 5 utilities. Not only did she say she would be doing closing up the 5, possibly 5, but she also said which ones would be closing. Ones that are understaffed and ones that are also under capacity. That would include the one that is in Sullivan County. I don't know, I'm gonna just go with the assumption that I can't ask the question if you actually went to Albany to talk with the governor. I'm just gonna assume that you didn't. Well, with that being said, I would have thought that since there would have been 2 out of 5 or 40% chance of Sullivan County's getting shut down, that there would be a contingent of politicians that would go to Albany rather than send some either lobbyists who are just dancers in suits, but lobbyists to go up and actually talk to the governor, tell her the need for why it shouldn't be shut down. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't done yet. It was just 3 months later that you want to criticize her for doing what she basically said she was going to do without having any say in other than, like I said, make a comment and be mad about it and basically just appeal that you cared for, that would affect a lot of people that work there, which again is not as much as you think because they're understaffed, so it's not that many. And again, with the bail reform laws and everything like that, it's really not a shocker, I don't think, that the will never shut down. So if it was something that was that important to you, I feel like it would be something that you would think about it to Albany and FLA and that's up to that, maybe quicker. But that would be one way to at least get on her radar, because I'm sure the other counties that didn't get their couldn't shut down were up there. They had representatives from town, from their own towns, their local towns, or county government, to basically state their case. And I have a feeling Fallsburg didn't do that. They just made a comment afterwards to make it sound like they're doing their due diligence and constituents sound like they're doing what they're supposed to be. But it's really no different now than the water and sewer, which I don't really want to talk about because it's pretty obvious that it's a major problem. Everyone knows that. If they don't, then they're under the rock. Maybe under the rock that has the water. I don't know. But I think that being that right now you have a serious problem with getting a coalition together from like Washington State, I think you should seriously consider resigning. And I'm not telling you went to jail, but if you're saying you're going to kill when I go there, it's just a suggestion. And that, you should have the power to do that, but that will be my recommendation. Thank you. Not enough enough.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anybody else in person.
I
Do we have someone online?
I have 8 online.
Which is,
Hold on.
Yeah, hi.
Abe, what's your last name?
People just brought up that this issue was known for.
Abe, what's your last name?
Abe Ruffner.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Since this problem with the infrastructure was since 2011, that's what I heard. I was never aware about it. But the comprehensive plan was done. I'm wondering first, why wasn't anything, especially that there was a moratorium in place, why wasn't anything done to upgrade the system? Now, we can brag about it, but now it's 2024. At least we should start the conversation right now. If it needs, because the rates are too low and there's no money to reinvest, you know, like I saw in the Democrat, then why don't we pass a 10% increase if this is going to be partial of the fix? Now, maybe the town should start looking into alternate solutions, to start to getting, grants. So all we heard about is about, there is a problem, but we don't have actually solutions. So I'm wondering, we all know what happened this summer, what is going to be next summer? Why don't we now, after Labor Day, start talking about the short-term solution and the long-term solution? We all know there is a problem, so why is not the town board actually working on a solution rather than talking about the problem again and again? I think the town should start really looking into the engineers, what's going to be the short-term solution and the long-term solution to this problem. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for.
Anyone else want to speak? Step up.
Thank the board for taking the minute to listen to me. I want to thank my friend Abe for his very well said comments. I just want to add to that. We know there was a problem. Now we know there was a problem. There's a report ready, and the report gives us basically idea what needs to be done. The town should apply for various grants that's available. I believe there's a lot out there. The town makes the right, reaches out to the right people for the right grants. We can get the money we need to upgrade the infrastructure, the water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure. Blaming everyone and going back is not going to help us. We have to move forward, come up with the right solution, just get it done, everyone will be happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay, now we'll go ahead and close the public portion and move on to our agenda items. So, number one, this has to do with appointing a new member of the Sullivan Correctional, Woodburn Correctional Facility to be able to, I guess, be deputized to perform marriages at the prison.
No, not to perform marriages, it's to,
Issuing marriage
issuing
licenses.
marriage licenses.
I corrected. The current person, I guess is no longer there, and they're looking to appoint someone else to do that role. It's an unpaid position, and it's something that the board can make the approval. So number one, motion to approve Nicole Burrell as town clerk designee for Woodburn Correctional Facility for the purposes of issuing marriage licenses and remove Emily Rogerson effective 9/17/24. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye, motion passes. Number two, sad to say, motion to accept the retirement of Sergeant Chris Pratty with the last day of 8/30/2024.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number three, motion to appoint employment of Wesley Castillo as real property data collector with a salary of $53,310.40 effective 9/16/24.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number four, motion to appoint provisional employment of Jordan Kozacek as an enforcement officer with a salary of $55,500 and a start date of 9/16/24.
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number five, motion to appoint provisional employment of Linville Morris as an enforcement officer with a salary of $55,500 and a start date of 9/9/24.
Motion.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number six, motion to accept the resignation of Parks Manager Ryan Killian effective 9/1/24.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number seven, motion to approve the employment of Donovan Ocasio as a senior account clerk in the DPW with a salary of $43,825.60 and a start date of 10/7/24.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a
Aye.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Motion to approve the employment of Eduardo Lopez as a plant attendant in the sewer department with a salary of $49,899.20 and a start date of 9/30/24.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 9, motion to approve warrant number 0924 dated 9/11/24 in the amount of $343,435.61.
Motion.
I
Second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 10, motion to approve payroll warrant dated 7/31/24 in the amount of $419,078.81.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Number 11, motion to approve payroll warrant dated 8/14/24 in the amount of $347,238.64.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Motion to approve payroll warrant dated 8/28/24 in the amount of $351,589.83. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Motion to approve payroll warrant dated 9/11/24 in the amount of $338,730.10.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Motion to approve warrant number 09824 dated 9/12/24 in the amount of $258,155.25.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So I'm very happy to announce, motion to permanently appoint Brendan Pavesi to the position of Chief of Police for the town of Fallsburg effective 9/17/24.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye. Now we
motion
need to
passes.
take a quick. Let's take a couple of pictures with them.
Make a photo out of it. Yeah, get the sheriff up there. Get the sheriff. Sheriff, come over there.
What's up, Mike?
I don't know if you can get them all. Make me look tall.
Stand over there.
I don't know where to go, we're out of order. Well, there's one, gotta get in front.
No, I don't want to get it.
Remember my son.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a good sign. Yeah, I'm a good sign, it was good.
I almost took your day.
That's okay. Was it like anything?
Alright, so next resolution, it has to do with our fall cleanup. This is gonna occur on October 18th, 19th, and 20th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Morningside Park. All materials must be dropped off at the park, and each household is permitted up to one covered pickup truck. Proof of residency is required. So do I have a motion to approve resolution to approve the fall cleanup on October 18, 19, 2024 at Morningside Park, number 53 of 2024?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next resolution is a agreement between the Fallsburg Police Department and the Fallsburg School District. This is to provide 2 SROs, Officer Jacob Miller and Officer Phil Brooks, to be there full-time, and the school board will be covering the cost of said SROs.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So the next one has to do with a intermunicipal agreement between the town of Fallsburg and Sullivan County with regard to a 1 congressional directed spending. So this is a grant that, it's a federal grant to help pay for the Never Sink Crossing project, which is the bridge to link the 2 sides of the rail trail. Essentially, the town will act as a sponsor, and the county will provide administrative services to be able to administer the grant for us. So we're gonna enter an agreement with them. So a resolution introduced by the Planning, Community Development, Real Property, and Capital Planning and Budgeting Committee to authorize execution of agreements related to congressionally directed spending for the O&W Rail Trail Neversink Crossing Project, number 55 of 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Can't get more than
Next
10%, I guess.
would be, so this is a resolution to change our local law regarding the makeup of the Fallsburg Police Commission. Currently, it is 3 board members and 2 members of the public, and we're looking to change the law to all 5 members of the board.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Do we have any other business in front of the board?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
I have a motion to approve the 2024 Fallsburg Town Board meeting schedule. Revision of no meeting on the second Tuesday of each month, as the attorney cannot be attended.
Okay, so we are amending the meeting schedule.
Yes, no meeting on the
So that
second
no meetings
Tuesday.
occur on any second Tuesdays of the month.
Yes, we have no attorney that day.
I'll second that. Just, hold on, please. Who is the first, who is the second?
Nate was second.
Okay, Jeff and Nate. Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Any other business to set before the board?
Yes. A resolution to approve adopting rules of conduct for the town board meetings and public hearings, number 58, and 2024, being a 3-minute limit for all public speaking.
I'll second that as well.
And do you have an actual resolution, or is this just a motion?
Silence the public.
Not so, every other town board does the same thing.
All right, I would just make a recommendation, if you want to limit the time per public comment, that's fine, but I would also ask you to give me an opportunity to provide a detailed resolution,
Okay.
all right? So,
So-
what's that? No, the motion, the motion is okay, if you want it to be effective immediately, and the direction would be to me to draft a resolution that covers the code of conduct and the 3 minutes, because you can regulate time, place, and manner, but you can't regulate content. And also, the board does have the ability to make sure that any public participation and comment is not disruptive of your board meeting.
So like hate speech and things like that, because that would be the thing that I would just recommend, like in terms of visceral hate speech, that sort of thing not being allowed. That would be something I would recommend.
The issue is gonna be, and I'll draft a resolution, is that public comment, as long as it's orderly and doesn't disrupt the flow of the meeting, doesn't advocate violence and things of that nature, is totally allowed. The public comment can be offensive and distasteful, but as long as it doesn't disrupt the meeting, it's still allowed. So I'll have to work up a
Yeah,
resolution.
because
so
I
you
mean,
can take a
you
look
would
at it.
figure if there's something that's hateful, it's
Yes.
probably gonna be disruptive, is my assumption.
So am I reading this resolution to pass this?
No,
resolution?
you have to look at this resolution. This is not something that can be whipped up on a moment's notice. You certainly can pass a resolution that limits time on just a simple motion, if that's what you want to do. But as far as any other conduct and so on, that has to be developed in a detailed resolution. And that's that sensitivity towards First Amendment issues.
So the motion for tonight would just be to limit public comment to 3 minutes. Okay, so I have a motion from Jeff, do I have a second?
I'll second that, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion
I have
passes.
a
And
motion.
that would be subject to further resolution of the board.
I have a motion to appoint David Singer to our zoning board of
Second.
appeals. The
Which,
term ending 12/31/2028.
is this to fill the open position?
Yes.
All right, so I have a motion on the table to appoint David Schlesinger to the zoning board of appeals to fill an open position vacated by Neil Sapolsky, ending in 12/31/2020. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And I have one
Oh,
abstention.
hold on, one abstain for a second?
Jeff.
And how do you spell David's last name?
It's right here.
I have two as well.
Okay, hold on one second so she can check in.
Are we ready for the next motion?
Yes.
So, my first motion would be to amend the fees that we pay our planning and zoning board members. They've been $50 for members and $100 for the chairman, I think close to 20 years. And we've been having trouble filling these seats, so it's not much, but I make a motion to increase for members from $50 to $100 per meeting, and for the chairman from $100 to $200 per meeting.
I second that.
Is that a motion?
No, that's a simple resolution.
Okay.
I'm the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And the second has to do regarding number 3 that was on our agenda. So Wesley Castillo moved departments, and he approved a salary of $53,310.40 tonight. And he's actually being trained by a woman who's worked for us, I believe, 6 or 7 years. Her name is Paulette Platt. And she makes $1,500 less than the person she's training in that position. So as much as I don't like raising salaries before budget time, you know, when there's deficiencies like this, I think it's worthwhile. So I make a motion to approve a salary increase for Paulette Platt in the assessor's office of $2,500.
Second.
I have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Any other business before the board?
I do have a couple of things. I'd like to, and this is based on Richard Hollow, set a motion for a public hearing to set and review the water sewer rates for October 29th, 2024.
This is a public hearing to set rates.
To set water and sewer rates, yes.
Well, at this point, it would be a goal date for the public hearing. I mean, to draft a proposed resolution and local laws. It has to be done by local law, and there needs to be a public hearing. And seeker address.
What was your goal date?
October
October
29th.
All right, so as of now, the motion is to set public hearing to
What's
set.
that? Well, that would.
I don't think we have a meeting that night.
Do we have it on the 5th? November 5th? That's election day?
It's the 20.
That's not 29. I don't have, I just think we don't.
It says no meeting.
Yeah, we don't have a
I think
meeting.
it's the 5th.
No meeting, the 5th, there can't be a meeting, so it would be, and actually, the next available meeting, just looking at it realistically, would be November
It's not the
19th.
5th because the 5th is.
Right,
Yes,
so
November
so
19th.
November 9th is fine.
November 19th.
19th?
19th.
Okay.
All right, so motion to set public hearing to set water and sewer rates for October 19th, November 19th.
November 19th.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Any other business before the board?
For that same date, I'd like to set forward a motion for a public hearing to review and update the town code of ethics for 11/19, I believe. And that would be up to Richard to do what he needs to do to review our town code of ethics.
Second that.
That would also be a local
Yeah.
law needed. The code of ethics is codified in our town code.
Okay, is this regarding the 3-minute limit, or?
No, this
general?
is the code of ethics that we as elected officials follow.
All right, I have a motion
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, Any other business before the board?
Just have an announcement.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just have an announcement, a simple announcement. So on October 3rd, a bunch of us discussed, we're going to put on a Town Employee Appreciation Day that Arnold's going to help us with. It's from 12 to 2, and it's going to be a little barbecue that Arnold's going to help us throw together for town employees.
What
It's
time?
Rosh Hashanah. It's Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, you can't do that. They had date on it. They had dates, Rosh Hashanah.
Yes, you can.
My wife would not be happy with you.
Do you wanna look at the-
So I'm going to make an announcement that we're going to announce another Employee Appreciation Day. But we do appreciate our town employees who really work very hard to keep the ship sailing straight, so we appreciate all of them.
So you come up with another date?
Yeah, I mean, yes,
I guess we can announce it at next week's meeting. That works?
that sounds good.
That's fine. Anything else?
So I had a question, and I'm going to try to navigate this question very carefully without mentioning a name. Because my assumption is we're probably not going to go into executive session at this point. For payroll week ending 9/6, there was an employee who did not get paid, and I'm trying to understand why. And I think that question is for the supervisor.
Wouldn't that be a personnel matter?
I wish we could go into executive session, but we cannot, so I'm not mentioning the name.
I think that's a personnel matter, it has to go to executive session.
I concur, however, we can't, so here we are. So I'm
You wanna make
asking,
a motion to enter an executive session to discuss personnel matters?
I do not believe we will be able to do that. Like, I can make the motion, but either way, I'd like to have that question answered. Whether it's done transparently here, or if it's in executive session. My
Richard, can we
understanding-
discuss personnel matters?
You can't discuss anything specific, you can discuss general if it's going to be specific. It's an issue. If going into executive session is a concern, the executive session can be limited to a single issue, and anyone can make a motion to end the executive session if the executive session goes beyond that issue.
So again, does the board wanna go into executive session to discuss the personnel matter
About a single
about a single
particular
specific
item.
employee? Alright, so I don't have a motion, I don't have a second.
Are you making a motion to go into executive session for one?
So I'd like to go into executive session to discuss one specific employee with the scope of that one specific employee with the board members in attendance as well as the town attorney in attendance.
I'll
I have a
second.
motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
But there may be another motion after that as well, after the executive session, depending on how that goes.
So do we wanna come back out to executive session, or do you wanna go into the
Yes,
next
Possibly,
session?
yes.
If there's a possibility that there's going to be a motion to post executive session, we open it, let the public know that there may be an action item, if you wait or not wait, that's up to them, and then we would come back and close the executive session and conduct additional business. If the executive session, but we at least have to come back and do that.
Okay.
If there's no business.
So if anyone wants to hang out for the last item on the matter, we'll go into executive session to discuss this matter, and then come back out for the public.
Right, so just motion second,
And I didn't get the second.
Is there a second?
It was-
Second, wait.
Second, okay.
Richard, do you want to stop the recording? Or do I just mute it? What do I do?
no, we're going to go
I know,
out to executive
so I
session.
just leave it recorded?
Yeah, you can mute it, there's no need for the public's interim conversations. You ready?
Do me one favor before we go, shut the camera off there, please. That record's done.
Oh, yeah. All right, guard has stuff on the shoes.
Yeah, this year, right?
See, I like you, and I've seen you before.
I'm sorry. I apologize, sir.
Yeah, I do too, gotta say something. Oh, no, yeah. Divide your garbage on this. Oh, you want me?
Alright, so I need a motion to close the executive session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Wait, pause.
Was who?
Jeff, second.
All in favor? Alright, we're back in the meeting. Alright, any other business before the board? Alright, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
I have a motion to adjourn and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion passes. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Have a good night.
I know.
There he is.